Welcome back to the Headphone Samurai. Today we're going to check out the completely feature-packed Grace M903. So this is the super awesome Grace M903 headphone amplifier and monitor controller. I'm sure a lot of you guys are familiar with Grace design. They're based out of Colorado, and we've carried their products for a pretty long time, since the 901. And then they came out with the 902 and the most recent 903. So this product is a couple years old now, but this is one we really wanted to do a video on because this is probably one of the most feature-packed headphone amplifiers out there. Just has everything in it. Let's start with the back panel. So for input connectivity, you see this thing is totally loaded up. You've got an internal power supply, digital input section consisting of USB, coax, optical, AES. We get over here to analog inputs. We've got single-ended and balanced analog inputs, as well as single-ended outputs and balanced TRS outputs. These are not balanced headphone outputs. These are going to be actually maybe for balanced studio monitors would probably be the best application for them, going into some powered monitors. And then these single-ended analog outputs going into a power amp for maybe passive studio monitors. On the front here, we've got our two 1/4-inch headphone output jacks, little display screen to show you the menus and your volume. This is your volume control. It also is a push button to access the menu and other features. And then the input selector. And of course the on switch. So this is one of the few amps other than the headroom amps that actually does have crossfeed. To access that, you push and hold the volume button, which brings you into the menu, and then you rotate through your different options here. There are lots of different options. Eventually you'll get to CF, which is crossfeed. You push it again to turn on the crossfeed. Some of these features in the menu are actually accessible with the optional remote control, which is another sweet feature of this amp. It has a remote, and a lot of headphone amps do not. Let's see, we also have independent volume control for the headphone output and the line outputs. So that's kind of a sweet feature. If you're listening to your headphones with this green light indicated here, then you can push the volume button once. You're going to get these orange lights, and that'll give you independent control of your rear outputs for your speakers. You can also set memories for all the volumes too, for when you power up the amplifier, so it goes straight to the last volume you had set. Different muting functions and all kinds of things within the menu. Another interesting feature in the menu is not really a gain, but they call it a output offset. So you can actually increase or decrease each one of your three outputs, headphone, line 1 and line 2, by 9 dB up or down, so a total of 18 dB. To get to that, you go to, I believe, OH, offset headphone, and you can adjust that up or down here. That way, if you're using two different types of speakers coming out of the back, and maybe your power amps are a little different, you can adjust them to match. Or you can boost up your headphone output by 9 dB to give you a little bit of a gain increase on a harder to drive headphone. Or reduce it, maybe for a really easy to drive headphone. The volume detents on this go up by 0.5 dB increments. This is a very pro-oriented device, so everything is kind of done according to studio standard type operations. It will accept pretty much any incoming sample rate from 44.1 up to 192, and you do have little indicator lights on the front here to tell you what you're locked into. One important thing to remember on the 903, if you're operating from a computer via USB, maybe be to go into USB 2 mode. I was having trouble on both PC and Mac at first with a little bit of glitching issues, and the guys at Grace Design told me to go into the menu and go to the U1 versus U2 option. You can toggle back and forth, but you will need to be in USB 2 mode in order to get high resolution support on a Mac, and also to download the optional 192K drivers for Windows. So that'd be an important setting to check out on your 903. Sonically, Grace Design really has never put out anything that was bad. So the 903 is definitely an excellent sounding amp. It has pretty decent power for pretty much everything. It's definitely a neutral amplifier, and I think that's probably Grace's goal in most of their products, is to create a very neutral, uncoloring type of sound for use as a reference tool in the studio. But if you have kind of complex needs with a headphone and also maybe some desktop speakers, or maybe even a little home studio, this is an extremely versatile headphone amplifier, and it would definitely be worth checking out. These guys are $18.95, so a little bit of a pricey unit, but I honestly can't think of an amp that has more options and more features. So check out the Grace 903 at headphone.com. And we'll see you next time on the Headphone Samurai.